Vanessa's chair scraped across the restaurant floor so sharply that every glass on the table seemed to stop mid-toast. "Before everyone congratulates them," my sister said, her voice calm enough to sound rehearsed, "Daniel deserves to know that baby isn't his." My hand froze over my stomach. Daniel turned toward me first, not her, and that was the part that cut. Not anger, not confusion, just that tiny flash of doubt before I had even opened my mouth. "Vanessa," my mother warned. But Vanessa was already moving. She walked around the table in her cream blazer, looking like the responsible older sister who had suffered through a terrible secret. Then she placed a stack of printed pages beside Daniel's plate. "Emily's been texting Marcus," she said, "her ex." The private dining room went silent. Daniel picked up the first page, his thumb dragged over the paper as he read. His mother leaned toward him, whispering, "What is it?" I reached for his arm. "Daniel, I don't know what she gave you, but those aren't real." Vanessa gave a soft, wounded laugh. "Then why is your name on them?" The pages showed messages that looked like mine. My contact name, my photo, lines about meeting Marcus, lines about dates. One sentence sat in the middle of the page like it had been designed to destroy me. "He can't know yet." Daniel looked up slowly. "Did Marcus contact you?" My throat tightened. "Once, months ago. He texted me after he heard we were engaged. I didn't meet him. I told him not to contact me again." Vanessa tilted her head. "So there was contact." A murmur passed through the table. I looked from face to face, waiting for one person to say this was insane, that my sister had just accused a pregnant woman in front of 2 families at her own engagement dinner. No one did. Daniel's hand shook as he reached for mine. For one breath I thought he was holding on. Then he slid the engagement ring off my finger. "Daniel," I whispered. He stared at the ring in his palm like it had become evidence. That was when my mother, who had not moved since Vanessa stood up, reached into her purse and placed one sealed envelope in front of him. Vanessa's face changed before Daniel even touched it. What did she recognize about that envelope before anyone opened it? I kept looking at Vanessa's face. Not the envelope, not Daniel's hand still curled around my ring. Vanessa. Because for one second, my sister forgot to act innocent. Her lips parted. Her eyes dropped to the corner of the envelope, where Mom's thumb covered whatever was written there. Then she swallowed hard and smoothed her blazer like she could press the fear back into herself. Daniel pushed his chair away. "I need air." I followed him into the hallway outside the private dining room, my legs unsteady beneath me. "Look at me," I said. "Please, not those pages, me." Daniel gripped the papers in one hand. "The dates line up, Emily." "What dates?" "The week I was in Denver." His voice cracked on the last word. "These messages say you met Marcus while I was gone. This one says he can't know yet. What am I supposed to do with that?" "You're supposed to ask me before believing my sister." He looked away. That hurt more than the accusation. I lowered my voice. "Marcus texted me once. He asked if we could talk after he heard about the engagement. I told him no. I deleted the thread because I didn't want old drama anywhere near us." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Vanessa told me 2 weeks ago you were hiding something." My breath stopped. "She what?" "She said she was worried about me. I thought she was just being protective." I turned and saw Vanessa standing near the bathroom entrance, close enough to hear, calm again now that relatives were watching from the doorway. "How did you get texts I deleted?" I asked. Vanessa's smile barely moved. "Maybe you should worry about what Daniel believes, not how I found them." Mom stepped between us before I could answer. She took the printed pages from Daniel's hand and said, "Then let's compare these to the copy I already have." Every person at the table turned when Mom walked back in holding Vanessa's pages. She laid them beside a second folder from her purse, lining the corners up carefully, like she had been waiting for this exact moment. Vanessa let out a sharp laugh. "Mom, what are you doing?" "What you should have done," Mom said, "checking before destroying someone." Daniel followed us back in, pale, still holding my ring. His father stood halfway from his chair. "Linda, what is that?" Mom didn't look away from Vanessa. 2 days ago, Vanessa came to my house asking strange questions about Emily's old phone, Marcus, and the pregnancy timeline. Vanessa's smile tightened. I was concerned. No, Mom said. You were counting weeks out loud at my kitchen table. Daniel's mother covered her mouth. Mom continued, I called Emily's doctor's office, not for private medical details. I only confirmed the date range from her first ultrasound because Vanessa was trying to make the dates sound suspicious. Vanessa pointed at me. Of course you'd protect her, she's the golden child now. The room shifted. I almost laughed, but nothing about it was funny. I had spent my life being told not to make scenes, not to overreact, not to embarrass the family. Golden child had never been my role. Daniel looked at Vanessa for the first time like he didn't recognize her. Then he said quietly, You sent me those screenshots yesterday. Vanessa blinked. What? The anonymous email, he said. Same pages, same order. I asked you if you knew anything about it and you said no. Daniel's father turned to Vanessa. Why send proof anonymously if you believed you were doing the right thing? Vanessa reached for her purse. I'm not staying here to be attacked. Mom slid the sealed envelope closer to Daniel. This isn't a defense, she said. It's proof. Vanessa stood. Mom's voice cut through the room. Sit down, Vanessa. The signature on the payment receipt is yours. Vanessa froze halfway out of her chair. For the first time all night, she had no prepared expression. No soft concern. No wounded sister routine. Just her fingers locked around her purse strap while Daniel stared at the sealed envelope like it had stopped being paper and become a verdict. Mom didn't open it yet. She looked at Vanessa and said, You borrowed Emily's old laptop 3 months ago. My stomach tightened. Vanessa's eyes flicked toward me. For the slideshow. For family photos, Mom said. That's what you told everyone, but that laptop still had Emily's old phone backup synced to it. The room seemed to tilt. I remembered the laptop, the cracked silver corner, the charger Vanessa kept forgetting to return, and then Marcus's message came back to me like a door unlocking. That's how you knew, I said. I deleted that thread from my phone, but it was still in the backup. But Vanessa's face hardened. You're all reaching. Daniel's mother stood now. Did you alter the messages or not? Vanessa snapped. Ask Emily why everything gets handed to her. Ask why she gets the fiancé, the baby, the house. She stopped. But it was too late. The house, Daniel said. I looked at Mom. She didn't answer yet, but her silence told me Vanessa had said more than she meant to. Daniel picked up the envelope. His fingers shook as he tore it open. He unfolded the first page, scanned it, and all the color drained from his face. Then shame moved across him, so clearly no one had to ask what he'd read. He looked at me. Emily. I didn't move toward him. Mom's voice stayed steady. I didn't bring that envelope to ruin you, Vanessa. I brought it because I knew you'd choose the cruelest possible moment to ruin her. Vanessa whispered, You had no right. Mom answered, I had every right once you involved an unborn baby, a fiancé and 2 families. Before Daniel could speak, Vanessa's phone lit up on the table. The message preview read, Did the edited texts work? Daniel slowly lifted Vanessa's phone from the table. Nobody touched their food, nobody spoke. The screen had gone dark, but everyone had already seen enough. Vanessa reached for it and Daniel pulled it out of her reach. Don't, he said. His voice was low, but it stopped her completely. Mom looked at him. Read the envelope, Daniel, out loud. I almost told her no. I didn't want my body, my pregnancy, my life turned into evidence in a restaurant. But then I looked at the printed pages Vanessa had dropped in front of him, the ones everyone had been allowed to stare at, and I stayed silent. Daniel unfolded the first document. His mouth opened, then closed. He pressed one hand to the table. It's a prenatal paternity result, he said. His voice broke. It says, probability of paternity is greater than 99.9%. His mother whispered, Daniel. He looked at me like the floor had disappeared under him. The baby is mine. I didn't nod, I didn't comfort him. I let him sit with the words. Mom tapped the second page. Keep reading. Daniel swallowed. Forensic comparison of printed message screenshots. His eyes moved quickly. The report says the screenshots were constructed from an original conversation, but dates were altered. Several messages were inserted. Font spacing doesn't match. Timestamp patterns don't match. Vanessa's chair creaked as she sat back down. Mom said the original conversation was exactly what Emily said it was. Marcus asked to talk. Emily told him not to contact her again. Daniel's hand shook harder as he turned to the last page. And this, Mom said, is the receipt. Daniel stared at it, a payment to a freelance editor for screenshot reconstruction. His father took one step toward the table. Vanessa. Vanessa's eyes flashed. You don't understand. No, I said, my voice came out steadier than I felt. We understand now. Mom finally said what Vanessa had nearly exposed herself. Your grandmother's house was placed in trust for Emily and the baby because Emily was the one taking care of her. Vanessa knew if she could make Daniel doubt the baby, she could delay the trust, challenge the decision, and make Emily look unstable. Vanessa's face twisted. I visited Grandma too. On holidays, Mom said. Emily was there for appointments, bills, medication, everything. Daniel picked up the ring from the table. His eyes were wet when he turned to me. Emily, he said, I'm so sorry. He reached for my hand, trying to slide the ring back where he had taken it from. I closed my fingers. The whole room went still again. You took it off, I said, before you asked me one real question. Daniel lowered his hand like it weighed too much to hold. His mother stood beside me, not him. Emily, I'm sorry. I should have said something before I believed anything. Daniel's father looked at Vanessa with a coldness I had never seen from him. The anonymous email, the forged screenshots, the public accusation. If Emily wants to pursue defamation, she has grounds. Mom gathered the documents back into the envelope. The estate attorney gets copies tomorrow. Vanessa looked around the table, waiting for someone to soften. No one did. She grabbed her purse and walked out alone. Over the next few weeks, her name disappeared from every trust conversation. Relatives who had always laughed at her sharp comments stopped inviting her to dinners. The story she tried to tell about protecting Daniel collapsed the moment people learned she had used my pregnancy as a weapon. Daniel didn't get forgiveness that night. I put the ring back in its box and told him paternity had never been the real test. Trust was. He started therapy. He wrote apologies to me and to Mom. He came to every appointment, but he stopped acting like showing up meant he had earned his place back. Months later, I brought my daughter home to my grandmother's house. Daniel carried the diaper bag behind me, quiet and careful, still rebuilding. Mom opened the front door with tears in her eyes. And for the first time in my life, no one in that family could make me feel like I had to beg to be believed. Vanessa's name no longer had power at our table. And the envelope she feared most did not just prove who the father was, it proved exactly who had been lying.